Hey, I'm Scott Jones from eMeals, and you're listening to Real Food for Real Life. On this episode, I talk with YouTube personality and blogger Cambria Joy. She's also the author of the new book, Look Inside, 30 Days to Ending Your War with the Mirror.
We're now living in an age in 2018 where everybody can compare themselves to anybody at any given time of the day. And so that's always a setup for your joy to be robbed and stolen.
Right.
And I always like to say that comparison is the thief of joy. This
newlywed and busy media pro talks about how she has compartmentalized her life into three primary buckets: faith, family, and fitness. Cambria also talks about the power of soul encouragement and what led her to write Look Inside. Now, before we get to the interview, I have a few housekeeping items. First, send us your questions and comments. We read all of them. And if you have a suggestion for a future guest or a potential topic, I'd love to know that too. You can find us on Twitter at eMeals using the hashtag AskEmeals. We also have an email address. It's community@emeals.com. If you don't already subscribe to our podcast, subscribe today. It's simple to do. You can find us at itunes.com/podcast/Real Food for Real Life. And while you're there, leave us a review. And finally, if you'd like more information on eMeals and our variety of meal plan food styles, you can find us at emeals.com. Try any of our meal plans free for 2 weeks, be it paleo, clean eating, or gluten-free. You can even have your shopping list sent directly to Walmart pickup at no charge, so your groceries are waiting for you. That's it. On with the show. Hey, Cambria, welcome back to Real Food for Real Life.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on here with you, Scott.
Well, a lot has happened in your life since the last time we spoke. You got married. And you have a new book out. So you've had some significant life changes and professional changes.
Yes, I've been married for over a year now, and I came out with Look Inside, 30 Days to Ending Your War with the Mirror in February. So it's been amazing. And I just can't believe what's happened in this past year. A lot has happened.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the book, but let's get to the important stuff. So how's life now that you're a family of two and, you're still working out and still living healthy? How's that going?
Yeah, it's going great. My husband and I just moved to Oregon a couple months ago. And so it's been really, really great. I love being married. It is so much fun. He's my best friend. And now we have a little dog. So we're like a little family of three, which is pretty fun. And still working out. We actually decided to not do a gym membership up here and just create our own gym in our garage, which has been super fun. And I love it. I didn't know that I would love working out at home so much, which is super awesome, especially for those listening that maybe have a really busy schedule right now or don't know how to fit in time to get in a workout, or maybe are uncomfortable with going to the gym. This is the first time that I've ever really created an at-home workout space, and I absolutely love it for so many reasons.
Yeah, what kind of tips would you give to someone who's thinking about setting up a small space in their garage or a room or something?
Yeah, I would say start with what you know. So meaning if you are a beginner with fitness and you don't really know a lot, you're a beginner, I would say start off with really just minimal stuff, grab a pair of lightweight dumbbells and just a good exercise mat, maybe a little bench that you can do step-ups on, or, dips or push-ups, just the basic stuff. And if you're a little bit more advanced, you maybe want to get some more equipment, maybe like a bar, a barbell, and, kettlebells. I would just say start with what you're comfortable with. Yeah. And so even if that just means like fitness bands that you wrap around your ankles and move with, or just honestly a mirror and a mat, and you can literally get in an amazing body weight workout with no equipment at all, but just having a space that feels inviting for you, that feels comfortable, doing it in a place that, you're able to move around. If that means your living room, that's great. For us, the garage works a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I like that we have a solid floor and we can put a mat down. And so I would just say, honestly, with wherever you're at in your fitness level, start there and then work your way up. And as you get more into it, that's what my husband and I have been doing. We've just been slowly collecting things, whether it's on sale online or if we, find it locally here, you can save money. And it's been great for saving money, super budget friendly, because once you have your equipment, it's yours and you can work out any time of the day or whenever you want, and you don't have to pay for a gym membership. So it's been awesome.
That's right. Yeah, I keep at home an exercise ball and a jump rope just to help with some stretching and to do some basic ab exercises. But I always feel like the jump rope, in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes, I can get my heart rate way up and work up a good sweat. So
my husband loves the jump rope too. That is a great piece of equipment to start with. It does not take long to get in an amazing workout with a jump rope. So good tip, Scott. I love it.
Thank you. So when we last spoke, you were telling us about the seeds of what would become Look Inside. And you were also pretty candid about your past struggles with eating and body image. And so just kind of give us a refresher on what the genesis was of Look Inside and how you made that a reality.
Yeah, Look Inside, 30 Days to Ending Your War with the Mirror was written because I went through a period in my life where I was so obsessed with my image and looking a certain way and having a quote unquote perfect body that it really began to rule my life. And I developed a binge eating disorder from my obsession with looking perfect. And it started at a very young age when I was in high school. And I actually was a counselor for junior high girls this past week, and actually
Super.
Getting to peek into some of their lives and seeing that they have pretty much the same struggle, if not very, very similar to what I was experiencing at their age. And it just reminds me how much this is a real difficulty, and being able to speak into their lives and help them with what they're going through and struggling with eating and exercise and working out and taking care of our bodies, and realizing that being healthy isn't just an external thing, it's an internal thing. And that's what Look Inside is about. It's about looking on the inside and finding that that's where our true worth and beauty is found as a woman, that it's not about what we can see on the outside, because what we can see is temporal. And so what we can focus on the inside is eternal. And that's what Look Inside is all about. It's about that we were created not to perfect our image, but to reflect the image of God. And the Bible says that God doesn't look at the outward appearance. He looks at the heart in 1 Samuel 16:7. And so that's where I got my inspiration for Look Inside. And honestly, through all of the nights where I felt like I was never going to be able to get out of my eating disorder, I was so lost and confused. And I really did believe that if I had a perfect looking body, that I would be happy.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized that nothing would satisfy me. Even if the numbers on the scale were lower and I felt victorious, the next day I would feel defeated because, they weren't even lower. And so it was always one goalpost after the next, and I was never satisfied, and I was always striving. And so Look Inside was written from that pain in my heart that became basically what I hope to become, just like a refreshing well, I guess a funny analogy, but would be like my tears, which is a Bible verse, my tears would become a pool of refreshment for others that are experiencing those same hurts. And so that was my hope with Look Inside, is that girls could really realize that our worth is not found in our weight, and our appearance is never going to satisfy us. And so that's why I wrote Look Inside, and that, our identity is not found in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And if we try to fight against that and we try to perfect our image in the mirror, we're fighting the wrong battle. And so it's an internal battle, not an external one. And so that's
right.
why I wrote it.
Got it. I have two daughters. One is a sophomore in high school and one is a freshman in college. And, tracking them over the years and seeing, that struggle with just fitting in and body image. And of course, that's nothing new. I mean, that's gone on forever. This whole notion of perfection. But I really feel like this has been amplified by social media, where it's always about making sure that you're posting or at least giving the perception that you're having the perfect life, whether it is, your location or your outfit or the way you look, the physical part of it. So I feel like this is probably more important than ever, and not just for young women. I think men and women, even adults struggle with wanting to have perfection physically when they look in the mirror, when they take a selfie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're living in a culture that has never compared itself more. Now that we have social media, you think back to 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, we're now living in an age in 2018 where everybody can compare themselves to anybody at any given time of the day. And so that's always a setup for your joy to be robbed and stolen.
Right.
And I always like to say that comparison is the thief of joy, because it takes our eyes off of our own lane and it gets it into another person's lane. And, we're never going to be able to run our own race efficiently and with a fixated goal. If we're constantly trying to look back at other people or get into somebody else's lane, we just have to stay in our own lanes, and then we will be able to run our own race.
Exactly. And man, that's just important stuff. So when someone gets the book, what can they expect to discover in that 30 days? I mean, it's obviously a 30-day plan, but I'm assuming that it gives you a roadmap for this being just a natural part of the way that you look at yourself.
Yeah, it's basically 30 days of very small and very practical ways that we can change our minds. The Bible also talks about being transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so Look Inside is just full of little tidbits of truth that help us to not fixate our eyes on our outward appearance. And it's the stuff that I learned, through the hard nights of where I'm thinking I'm never going to be able to get out of this eating disorder. And it's basically those truths that I learned in the nights that I cried the most tears. So it's very practical. It's very deep at the same time. And I love to use lots of quotes that just stick with you. That was my goal, is that it would be an easy read, that it would be a meaningful read, and that it wouldn't just be, it would be life changing and transforming for each and every person that reads it. That I wrote it with you in mind, basically, that the reader would feel that it was written for them and them alone, and that they could practically apply every single day something in their lives that they could walk away with saying, okay, I am really going to fix my eyes not on the mirror, not on myself. I'm going to fix them on my Creator. And that's where I'm going to be satisfied as, the creation. So that was my goal with Look Inside. As far as the little 30-day tidbits go, they're definitely jam-packed with lots of good stuff.
Awesome. And I noticed on your website that you have kind of a bundle package for the book. What other kind of supporting material do you have to go along with this?
Yeah, so with Look Inside, there is a bundle that you can get with a journal as well, which is amazing. I love how the journal turned out. It's designed so beautifully. It goes hand in hand with Look Inside. And what's amazing about the journal is that not only is it adorable, and I love how our designer created it, but the interior actually has questions that directly go along with what you're learning in Look Inside. And it gives you a place and a space to write down those feelings, those answers maybe that you've gotten. Just journaling in general has really helped me over the years. And so I love that it really goes in hand with exactly what the reader is learning during those 30 days, and then they can really record their own journey.
Yeah. And actually, I know there's a lot of science behind, behavior modification and setting positive patterns, and, whether it's eating the right thing, being consistent with a certain workout, or just having a gratitude list. I feel like that's another thing that I've been hearing a lot about in the last couple of years is the power of journaling.
Absolutely. I love journaling. It's been a major tool in my life that I've used to just, look back and see how far I've come. A lot of the times we can get discouraged with where we are. Journaling really helps us to really see how far we've come. And that's what helped me honestly the most, is to say, wow, I don't need to be discouraged today, even though I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I used to be, and I'm getting closer every day. And that's what journaling has been very, very helpful for me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And shifting gears a little bit, you're still producing the YouTube videos, right?
Yes. Yep. Making lots of videos. I took a little bit of a break from vlogging just because life, moving states, and just the craziness of moving out of state and getting settled into a new home and still being newly married. And so I took a little bit of time off of vlogging, but I've still been uploading on my main channel lots of fitness tips, healthy recipes, all that good stuff, and as well as doing my weekly emails. Those are super fun. I love sending out weekly emails. They're free. They're jam-packed full of soul encouragement, fitness tips, healthy recipes, just exclusive insider tips that get sent out every week. And I love doing that. And I will be starting my vlogs again very soon, which will be more of like my personal workouts and just like my everyday life. So yeah.
So as it relates to your everyday life, have you learned any really great healthy kitchen hacks over the last year as you and your husband have been in the kitchen? Or
yeah, lately my new favorite thing is buying frozen vegetables. I never used to really do that. And I feel like a lot of the times life is so busy that it's hard to prep out, shopping for veggies, because I like to buy organic as much as possible, and it can go bad very quickly. So, that means sometimes making multiple trips to the grocery store every single week. And it is so much easier for me to buy organic frozen vegetables. I can just quickly make them, no matter what it is, whether it's literally like frozen cauliflower, or frozen green beans, whatever it is so easy. It doesn't go bad. You save money, you save time, and it tastes just as good. So that's been my favorite thing lately. And then of course, I feel like just the easiest thing for me ever is always smoothie bowls. It's always quick. It's always easy. Again, it's frozen because it's frozen fruit. And I'm trying to get better at meal prepping other things, like just chopped up vegetables, having like fresh chopped fruit on hand and in the refrigerator. And so that's something that I'm trying to get better at still. But the frozen section is my new favorite thing ever. So
yeah, I'm a longtime fan of frozen vegetables and frozen berries, because they're picked at the height of ripeness. They're flash frozen, and you can keep them on hand.
Exactly. And that got me thinking, my other favorite tip lately has been using an electric pressure cooker. Yeah. It has changed the game for me as far as fast, quick dinners. And I feel like even that in and of itself is meal prep, because you can make a really large pot of soup and it keeps for a few solid days in the refrigerator. So quick, so easy, extremely healthy. I've been making paleo soups in my pressure cooker all of the time, and it's just fast. Don't get me wrong, I love my crock pot, but the pressure cooker, especially an electric pressure cooker, is so fast. Yeah. And so it just is like a game changer when it comes to healthy eating that's fast.
Yeah, whether it's the electric pressure cooker or like Instapots, I mean that seems to be all the rage now. And of course they've been around for generations. The notion of pressure cooking, but what pressure cooking can do in terms of cutting times for whether you're cooking a chicken or a pot of beans or whatever. I mean, it's unbelievable how fast that stuff can happen. So I know a lot of our subscribers are using those to just make their lives a little bit easier. One thing I did want to ask you, Cambria, you mentioned, I know you're a smoothie bowl fan. One thing that I would love to hear you talk about maybe is how do you moderate the calories in a smoothie bowl? Because I feel like, you can pack them with good things, but, when you get that big old bowl, I feel like you can also run the risk of maybe having too many calories.
Totally. Well, first of all, when I make smoothie bowls, I typically make acai bowls. And so I always buy the unsweetened packets just because I believe that's just how they are in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really need to add any more sugar. So that's my preference. I buy the unsweetened acai packets. And then what I'll do for me personally is just try to have just as much fruit as I would if I was just snacking on a piece of fruit. So basically what that means is that if I'm going to make an acai bowl, I'll put in the unsweetened packet, and then I'll do maybe half of a frozen banana and then a fourth of a cup of blueberries. And then I'll top it with the other half of the banana and then some, chia seeds or a little bit of healthy fats. And I try to just keep it to, that serving for myself instead of doing, maybe one whole banana in it and then another banana on top and then more frozen fruit. And I personally don't count calories just because I just like to do kind of intuitive eating where I feel, whatever my body's really feeling that day. And some days I am craving a little bit more fruit. Maybe it's hot outside, or maybe I haven't eaten a lot that day or whatever it is. And so sometimes I will have a little bit more just because I want to.
Right.
However, in general, I do like to, make sure that I am eating, a reasonable amount and not overly excessive, because I think that can be just as unhealthy, not eating enough and then overeating. And there is a middle ground there. And so with intuitive eating, that's just what I like to do personally. And then, the toppings, I honestly like to keep my toppings focused on healthy fats. So I like to do the fruit part of it in the actual smoothie bowl.
Right.
And then the toppings, I really like to focus on those healthy fats because that's a really great way to help balance blood sugar. So topping with cacao nibs, chia seeds, even a drizzle of a little bit of almond butter. And then normally a little bit of berries, because berries are so healthy. They high fiber, lower on the glycemic index, and you can just never go wrong with them. So that's what I like to do. So.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I think I need a mid-afternoon smoothie bowl right now.
Me too.
Well, Cambria, thank you so much for coming back and telling us about Look Inside. What an exciting project for you. And I will, in the show notes, we'll have a link so folks can order it if they want, and certainly find out more about the book and all the other cool things you have going on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on here, Scott. It's always a pleasure.
You've been listening to Real Food for Real Life. Subscribe today and you'll never miss another episode. You'll also have access to past episodes with terrific guests ranging from cookbook authors to paleo experts, clean eating experts, to fitness pros. You can find us at itunes.com/podcast/Real Food for Real Life. And when you subscribe, be sure to leave us a review. You can also find us on other popular podcast apps like Stitcher and Google Play Music. If you have questions about this episode or our podcast, feel free to email me at community@emeals.com, or you can tweet them to me at emeals using the hashtag #AskEmeals. To get more information on emeals and our variety of meal plans, visit us at emeals.com. Until next time, I'm Scott Jones. Thanks for listening.